What followed was the partnership of one of the greatest comic double acts of all time. You okay?
Excuse me.
Let's carry on. A new tour is currently making its way across the UK, celebrating the duo's anniversary. It's being presented by Neil Brand, and Neil is with us this morning. Neil, good morning. Nice to see you.
Good morning.
Why the enduring fascination of Laurel and Hardy?
I honestly think it's because they're very accessible. Of all the silent comics, theirs is the world that's kind of closest to ours. And we see them making such a mess of the things that we do every day. And that was how Hal Roach set out to make his comedies in the first place. And I think that's one of the things that makes us feel a bit superior to them. You know, no matter how bad things may be for us, they can't even get through a door at the same time. And it really helps.
And they transitioned from the silent movies to the talkies, didn't they?
Yes, I think by just carrying on doing their own thing, they sounded the way they looked. And that was the big thing about getting into sound if you were a silent actor. If you were a hero, but you only had a high voice like that, you were going to be in trouble. Whereas Stan and Ollie looked and sounded right. And they just went on making the same sort of comedies. In fact, Hal Roach was one of the first to become a sound studio. So when they were making their shorts, and the sort of thing I'm talking about, they were making a silent version and a sound version of the same films in order to send them out to the different cinemas.
It is incredible to look at it now and you realise how much more they needed maybe to act and emote because they weren't speaking. And the music also played a really important role. We've got one, and you've picked out a few clips for us. There's this first one. It's from Sailors Beware, isn't it? And this is important because this was before they became Laurel and Hardy as we know now. They weren't billed. They were just two actors.
They're different statuses, and Ollie's being quite nasty to Stan, because Ollie's the purser on this ship and Stan's just arrived. But as you can see, they're already playful. They're playful with each other, and they're making Laurel and Hardy style comedy out of that situation. Also, it's interesting to see how light on his feet Ollie is. And the two of them really understood each other and how to kind of make these comedies. It was a little while before they found the gravity of what it meant to be a proper comedy duo.
Well, talk us through Lucky Dog, which is another clip we've got, because this was the first one before they became a very famous comedy duo.
This is actually from 5 years before, and amazingly, Stan was making his own solo films, and he hired Ollie to play someone to hold him up at gunpoint. But this is 1921. So you can see already Ollie is right on it, and the two of them work incredibly well together. This may even have been the first time they met, was when they made this film. Stan's got weird kind of panda eye makeup because his eyes were very light, and so they sort of showed up better on the film stock that was around in 21. By the time we come to get 26, there's no problem with his eyes.
So I didn't know he'd employed Ollie initially.
Yes. So that was before they both went to Hal Roach. That was when Stan was making his own films.
Wow.
It really is fascinating to see the sort of the genesis and how all this plays out. And you know, even looking back at that technology and as you said, the film stock that was available. So then take us through to the finishing touch, because this is one when they were established at this point, weren't they?
They were. And I love this moment. Stan Laurel loved the idea of kind of magical, daft things happening on screen. And here, he's just basically carrying a plank. It's Edgar Kennedy playing the policeman. Ollie is hammering nails in the house behind. And he turns around and it just basically looks as if Stan's at both ends of the plank. And I just love that.
Very good.
Finishing touch is one of the first ones where they're actually building a house together. What can possibly go wrong, you know?
I mean, that is making us chuckle all these years later. And it's little more than the obvious gag, but it's funny.
Yeah, and I'd love that. It's also basic as well. I think that's the other thing people like. It's very basic slapstick of the sort that we've come to know now through stuff like Mr. Bean and even a lot of the comedy series like Friday Night Dinner and stuff like that. This is how it all started. Stan Laurel was the greatest gag man, I think, in silent cinema, and he knew how to make visual gags so good.
And what do you think has been the enduring legacy of them? You know, how did they shape how modern cinema then went on to make films of this sort of genre?
Well, really, I think, but they were able to show that no matter what the background was and what the situation was, you could get comedy out of it. Very simple, small things. And the legacy basically comes down to us through people like Eric and Ernie. So Morecambe and Wise shared a bed because Stan and Ollie shared a bed. Moving further on down, Rick Mayall and Ade Edmondson got together at Manchester University over a shared love of Laurel and Hardy, right the way up to today, you know. And I think you've got still this sense that a comedy team has got to find a way to share that comedy between them, but both of them have got something to bring to it. It's not a case of one being in charge and the other following along. The two of them meet somewhere and create something that one single comic couldn't do on their own.
And there is that intimacy, isn't there? I was just thinking about Reeves and Mortimer as well, and the influence that you can see with them.
Totally. And I think when you see Reeves and Mortimer, they are not the individuals, Vic Reeves and Bob Mortimer. There's something else going on between them that they understand, and we kind of don't. And that's what makes it funny. It's as if they've got access to a whole world of comedy that they're letting us see. But, you know, if it was just one of them on their own, they wouldn't do it. But the two of them together, it just makes it work.
And Neil, the other magic ingredient of these silent movies, of course, was the soundtrack. Often played live along with the silent film. I see you next to the piano, so give us a taste of what it might be, because you do a bit of this on the tour.
I do. In fact, I'm playing all the films and I make it up as I go along. So honestly, it is improvised on the night.
I read that it was improvised. That's amazing.
It's been my job for 40 years. Thank you. I'm very proud of it.
Yeah.
Sort of thing.
And it's the music and the sound effects too. There's a lot of sound effects. And you get the audience to help you.
Yes, the audience gets to join in there's a huge scene in which a load of men are tearing each other's trousers off. They all get a bit of paper when they arrive and they get to do the tearing.
Oh, wow,
and honestly,
okay.
Until you have a whole theatre full of people tearing trousers, you don't know what funny is. I love it because it's as playful as what Stan and Ollie are doing, and everybody gets to join in. I think that's part of the magic.
And do you find that you're getting younger people coming along?
Yes, although that's still quite hard to get younger people because Stan and Ollie not being on telly like they were in my day, they don't see it. But I really do say, look, come and see this. This is where all your comedy that you love now, this is where it started. I hope we will get more, but we are getting quite a few coming and they're loving it. And some of them are bringing their parents.
Neil, we'll say thank you, but will you play us a little bit that would be at the end of a film, a Laurel and Hardy film? What would you play?
Sure.
That is beautiful.
Amazing. Thank you.
Fantastic. Good luck with the rest of the tour. It sounds wonderful.
Thanks ever so much.
Love that. Headlines up for you at 8. Let's get the news, the travel and the weather where you are.